Merrifield Garden Center was founded on April the 9th, 1971, when my mom and dad, Bob and Billie Jean Warhurst, and their good friends and neighbors, Buddy and Doris Williams, first decided to go into business together.
Buddy was a fantastic man, always complimenting me on how hard I'm working, telling me that I'm doing a great job, and he always had something funny to say.
Bob made everybody he talked to feel like the most important person in the world. And you picked up on that quick, that I mattered. I was important. What I had to say was important. Whether he thought it was or not, he didn't make it seem any other way. And he just made you feel special and wanted and valued.
But I worked my whole time here with Doris. She was strong and sassy and confident, but so friendly and so kind. And every person she met, whether it was an employee or a customer or a vendor, she carried herself the same way. Kind but strong.
Doris was amazing in a sense where she did a lot from just a flip phone and a Rolodex.
I love Billie Jean, and I always have. She's the sweetest human being that ever walked, crawled, flopped, or flew.
When it all started, it was just a small red barn in Merrifield, Virginia. And who would have thought then in 1971 that it would grow to become 3 large destination garden centers with over 650 employees.
Merrifield was built on the belief that we're here to serve the local community. And I don't think that will ever change. That is why we're here.
We've created a really special place for people to come, people to shop. And I'm really proud to have been a part of all of that.
They don't just love the plants and the flowers, they love the feel of the whole place. And the feel of the whole place comes from the people here.
So my mom and dad had moved from a small apartment in Arlington, Virginia, to Vienna, Virginia. And they lived, as it turns out, right down the street from where the Williamses lived. So shortly after moving in, my dad got on his pinto horse and rode bareback down a 1-lane dirt road to the Williamses' house, knocked on the door. They answered. He said, "Hi, I'm Bob Warhurst. I'm your new neighbor."
Both of them admired horses, and that was the common thread. And from there, they just became buds.
So Buddy was a firefighter, and Dad had a trash service that he'd had for many years and started an antique and secondhand shop called the Trading Post. And he decided to start selling flowers there one day. And so he comes home one day and he says to Mom, "Hun, I think I'm going to start a nursery." And you had a great response.
I thought it was a baby nursery. And I says, "What in the world would you want with a nursery for babies?"
We were here all the time, and whatever they needed, we would help. And plus, Dad was the idol, man. I wanted to be like him, so wherever he went, I went, and whatever he did, I did. So.
I would get a call through the PA system, or somebody would run a note down to your class and say, "We need Rob Warhurst down in the principal's office right now." And the principal would see him. I'd go, "Great, what did I do?" So I'd go to the principal, and he would say, "Hey, have a seat. Say your dad called and needs you at the loading dock today, so you're going to have to, he's sending somebody to pick you up." I'd be, "Okay, great, that's awesome. I'm glad I'm not in trouble."
We'd have friends over, and Dad would trick us into going up there and picking rocks. Oh my God, that was a mess. You'd fill up a whole big dump truck by hand with rocks. It was terrible.
One of the things that Bob and Buddy really instilled in us is that they never asked us to do anything that they wouldn't do themselves. And you would kind of half dread when you would start a project with Bob or Buddy, because you didn't know how many times you might be there till 10 o'clock at night still working on that project. It was a small company, and the only way things could get done if you jumped in there and worked and did it.
It was a really easy thing for me to instantly get behind when the owner of the company at that time was, working just as hard, if not harder than I was, and alongside me.
He could do just about anything. If he didn't know how to do it, he'd figure it out. And everybody did that, They say they don't make men like that anymore. I don't. There may be a few, but Buddy was the same way. If they didn't know how to do it, they'd figure it out.
They both were so eager to motivate everybody around them to do the best they could.
And everybody did everything. I mean, you know, when the truckloads of plants came in, and of course nothing was palletized back then, so everything had to be unloaded by hand.
We unload the bag of mulch in the shoulders. We didn't have a forklift. They never came on pallets. They came in loose, so we had to make a change, human change, to unload the mulch like big piles.
It was crazy, but that's the way it was.
Bob and Buddy, they all jumped in, helped unload everything, everybody did kind of everything because it was just such a small operation.
Rob, the first Saturday I met him, 3 days after I started, he was 14, and he was the one who told me how to help customers and how to deal with customers. Say yes sir and yes ma'am and be friendly and joke a little bit. So I always thought that was interesting, that a 14-year-old is who gave me the direction of how to treat our customers here.
I don't remember when we first got paid. I remember joking about Tim and David because we'd all be working side by side and they were talking about how much they made an hour, and I was like, you guys get paid actually some money? You know? And of course that was just foreign to me. I didn't even know what it meant because I was 10 when we started.
Everybody was important and everything you did was important. And you were motivated by that, to let's stay later, let's get this done, let's do this, because it was like urgency to everything, which was, it built a team.
Well, and many times I remember in the beginning, we'd come back over here at night and pinch the mums. We had to deadhead the mums, so we'd pinch the mums, and it would be the whole family here. So you didn't feel like you were working. It was kind of like a family party. The friends were here, the family was here. We were all pinching mums together. We'd be singing and we'd laugh. It was fun.
I think they all knew when they started out, Grandpa, Grandma, Buddy, and Doris, that they had something special here. I think they discovered that really quickly.
Bob was very motivated, very smart. He knew what to do, to bring customers in.
Well, Buddy and my granddad, they were always talking about expanding and always talking about growth. And in 1981, they bought a 33-acre parcel of land in Fairfax, Virginia, right outside of the Fairfax County Parkway, where that is today. And they knew that that would be the second location eventually. Well, they started using the raw property immediately by planting the trees and shrubs that they'd get from growers that weren't quite Merrifield quality. They'd prune them, feed them, water them, and eventually sell them at the Merrifield location. Well, in 1988, the 7 acres across the street from the 33 acres became available for sale, and they purchased it because it already had an existing store on it, and they knew that they could open quickly and test the waters and see if people would come to Fairfax to shop. Well, they quickly saw when they opened in December of '88 that people loved it and it was becoming successful. So they started building on the 33-acre side, and they opened there in December of 1993, just in time for the holiday season, to sell some poinsettias and holiday plants.
When I started, every year we were experiencing very strong growth, and it was difficult to keep up, and we were all scrambling and running around doing little bits of everything to make sure that the place operated well. And the most important thing is we wanted our customers to have a fantastic shopping experience because we knew that that was what was going to drive our future.
We bought the Gainesville property in 2007, and so there was a 7-Eleven on the corner of that property, and they knew how well it did. So they thought, all right, there must be traffic out here, so this might be our next spot.
I can remember the first time Bob said that the property at Gainesville was being built, and he said to Roseanne and I, girls, I put a shed out at Gainesville, could you go make a little shop in it? So we brought a little bit of everything. We brought some gloves, we brought some bags of fertilizer, and we just made a tiny garden shop in a 12 by 12 shed at the beginning of time at Gainesville.
I really loved when we did our Gainesville project, started the store. It was 7 guys there. It was me and my dad, my granddad, and a couple other guys, and it was kind of a one-on-one working together in a ditch. Got my dad running the tractor and me and granddad down the ditch, and of course he was 70 years old, out working me all day long every day, which was crazy. I don't know how he could do it. That man did not stop.
It feels great that we've made it to 50 years. To look back and think that the core values that my grandpa Bob and his partner Buddy set back in 1971 still remain true to this day, that we pride ourselves on in and out every day as a business, is truly incredible. Quality, selection, and service.
Growing up and learning from Bob and Buddy is it's quality. It's all about getting the best material they get, and they went out and found it.
When you see all these Merrifield lock tags here in the garden center, you know that somebody has hand selected those trees, and I think that is just crucial, because you're looking at, in the garden center, you're looking at, say, 10 Japanese maples all with lock tags on it, and you go, well, which one is going to be the best? And they're all the best.
We might not have it at our store, but we've got all the connections in the world to get it to them, no matter the size or the shape or the variety. We're almost always able to get them the plant that they want.
One thing about that I like working at Merrifield is the plant selection. You cannot find the diversity of plants anywhere else but except it here. It's a candy store.
And everybody brings their expertise to the table, so you're never alone in solving a problem or getting things done. I love that I have every resource at my fingertips.
The words that I heard as a young kid at the dinner table was, yeah, go make a friend. Go make a friend, be a friend, and hear what the customer's looking for, and be a person of your word. And as of this day, I do believe we're still carrying that on.
So ultimately, it's about making the customer happy and making sure that they're well taken care of.
Because we try to make people happy, you know, and I think that's the key.
I think that's the big fueling factor for me. Is I love making people happy and smile and laugh, but if I can also help them in one way or another, that makes me feel so good.
He saw the value in every employee and knows that, he always said, we can have all the nicest buildings in the world and the nicest plants, but if we don't have great people, we've got nothing. And that was his genius, is finding great people. You know, if he had to beg them to come or whatever, he got great people, and he made it a family.
You know, they say that friends are the family we choose, and that's why this is such a wonderful family to be in. It really is.
Like I say, I've been here a long time. I've been a part of the Merrifield family. It's not just a job. They really do take you under their wing, and you become like part of the family.
One of the great pleasures of working here is that when I came to work, I joined a family. And that family has been very close to me for all these years.
I like coming every day. The people, it's a lot of family work here, a lot of great people work here, and I think that's what makes it a nice place to come to. I don't think there's one single place I can learn as much as I can learn here.
When I hear stories from my dad or my uncles or my aunts, or the Williams family or Tommy and the Guy brothers or David, and just kind of their camaraderie that they had, and then you compare it to the camaraderie that this kind of new generation has, I think that just in general is one of my favorite things about Merrifield.
If there's a need, or if there's a customer waiting to be helped, or if somebody checks out and some of the guys are busy, I'm jumping right in that tractor, and almost every time I do it, I'm thinking of me as a little kid sitting on my dad's lap while we're practicing in the mulch or practicing in the topsoil, and now here I am 15 plus years later doing the real thing for customers here on the lot, and it's really special.
With me working at Loan Dock and working my way up the ranks, my son now is a loader at Merrifield Garden Center. He loves doing it, and he has a great time working here, and it's such a neat feeling seeing him and passing him when he's working helping customers.
One thing that I'm excited about is that, like, my son Mason, who was just born this past December, you know, someday down the road he might want to start working here, and that'd be really cool, you know, 4th generation.
I think if Bob and Buddy were here and what they were saying about making it to 50 years is that they're ready for another 50.
They'd probably say, you guys were taking way too long in that interview. We got to get back
to work.
Remember, I thought that was only going to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Most likely. Can we do this in June or July?
Really, it's amazing to watch how this place has grown. I mean, for 50 years from what this was, I would have never thought that this would be like this.
Time flies, so it doesn't feel like 50 years, really. feels like 25 probably if you had to guess. Of course, that means we're all getting older too, which is
Right.
it's a good thing. You want to get older, but it just shows you how fast time can go.
But we know we're getting older because we have grandbabies now.
Yeah, that's right.
That we enjoy. So we must be getting older.
Can't wait to get them started working and not paying them.
That's right. That's right.
I feel very fortunate to be part of an organization who's been successful for this many years, and I get a little sappy about Merrifield, but like I said, I would never work anyplace else. I'd have to retire if I couldn't work here.
We love being here, we love our customers, we love helping them make their landscapes beautiful, and we're just so thankful for them.
That's for sure.
So,
that's the main thing.
That's right. Here's to another 50 years. Here's to another 100 years. I don't know that we'll be here.
Well, we may try.
We can try.